In the last video, I demoed how to create linear connections across a given chord progression using guide tones. I also laid some groundwork with respect to guide tones and improvisation. If you haven't watched it already, I recommend you do, because it'll provide a sense of continuity to what I'm going to show you in this video. Counterpoint, contrapunctus, point against point, note against note. Today I'm going to show you how to create a double counterpoint, two melodies in the right hand against a chord progression. The principal or the upper note, the upper melodies, are derived from strong guide tones, mainly the third, fifth, seventh, and the ninth, and are played with the fourth and the fifth finger, mainly. These are long, sustained notes, so be sure to hold them while you play the lower melody. The second melody serves as a counterpoint, and it's going to be more busy, more ornamental than the first. This melody is placed under the upper melody, and it's played with the thumb, the second, and the third finger. So let's get started. So I created some examples that demonstrate how two melodies can complement each other. The upper melody comprises strong guide tones or chord tones, such as the third, fifth, seventh, and ninth, and it moves by step. It comprises long duration notes or tight notes. And this melody is in contrast to the lower melody, which is in this case more florid and busy. The chord progression I'm using daisy chains a couple of 2-5-1s. It starts in a major key and then modulates to its relative minor. For ease of seeing the keys and for reading, I've chosen the keys of C major and A minor. The skeletal structure of both lines, as you will hear, is following voice leading principles that one would normally use when playing standard jazz chords. So in the first example, the upper melody comprises the third, which transforms into the seventh, whereas the counter melody starts on the seventh and moves to the third. So. In the second example, the fifth note transforms into the ninth, and in the counter melody, you will hear that the seventh moves to the third. The next example shows you how the seventh transforms into the third in the upper melody, whereas in the lower melody, you'll find that the third moves to the seventh. So before I go to the last example, there are a few things to keep in mind. When you're creating the second melody, it sounds nicer when it is a third or more separated from the main melody. The reason being that if you have the secondary melody too close to the first or to the main melody, it's difficult to tell the two apart. The other thing would be to place the main chord tones, guide tones of the upper melody on the strong beat of the bar. As you've noticed, I'm using some sort of chromaticism in the secondary melody, and that's creating for a more busier play. but it also creates a forward motion, a sort of swing to the melodic line. I would recommend practicing these examples in different keys, and in time you will get familiar with it. You will develop musicality while improvising, and you'll find that your right hand can do pretty well creating sort of these polyphonic melodies. So let's go to the last example, which is where the ninth transforms into the 13th. And you'll find that the counter melody is a mix of thirds and fifths. Well, that brings us to the end of our session. I hope you will try some of the linear counterpoint sequences that I've shown you. It's really a great way to get more mileage out of one hand and add more depth and melodic structure to your improvisation. Subscribe to my channel, visit my website. I have more videos there, also videos of my students performing. Thank you for watching and hope to see you again soon.